All right, I think we are live. Say hello to everybody out there in the MEC.
Hey
Super
guys.
hyped today. I know a bunch of you guys know Rachel. If you don't, you've been living under a rock. So definitely excited to introduce you and your story and all this cool stuff you have going on to the group. Going to be a whole ton of value, and there's just so many cool different things about your story, what you've been working on, how you help people. It's going to be really cool to just explore a bunch of these pieces. And first off, congratulate you on your 2 comma club. That's so awesome.
Thank you. I couldn't believe it. Like I was so excited. I got it while I was on a live stream and I started crying on the live stream. I was like, no way. This is so exciting.
Yeah, that's so cool. And for everybody out there who doesn't know what a 2 comma club award is, that's when you cross 7 figures in revenue with one sales funnel. That's amazing. That's huge. That's something that probably like less than 1% of entrepreneurs are doing.
I have no idea what the statistics are, but it's not normal for like a 28-year-old, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Pretty
for sure.
cool.
So definitely killing it in the millennial entrepreneur space. And I remember, I think we talked about this a little while back about how I interviewed you. You were one of the first, I don't know, 20 guests or so when I had the podcast. And we talked about like what the future is looking like for you and all these big, crazy goals you have. And how awesome is it that you've probably hit and blasted every one of those out of the park, right?
It's so weird. And I think honestly, like you've probably experienced this too, Arnie, and some of the people watching, where you have goals and you write them down or you document them on a podcast. And then as time goes on, like it doesn't feel as exciting because you know how in the day-to-day the grind is not glamorous.
Yeah.
And you forget that those were goals that you once set. And all of a sudden you achieve them and you're like, wait a second, that was just a goal, a dream, and like an idea I
Mhm.
had, and you forget about how cool it is until you
Yeah.
go back and listen and remember, oh yeah, that wasn't something that was possible before.
Yeah, and not only that, but that was less than 2 years ago. So
Right.
that's one thing I love, especially about this community. People like you and me and so many of the other community members are just absolutely crushing it in like record time. Like that slow grind, it's challenging. There's new stuff coming up every day. But even when you look back at, 6 months of progress, like wow, so much can happen in a short amount of time. And you've been blasting it out of the water for your business, for your clients, for everyone at SMU, and really just helping people get there fast. So I know that's going to be one topic, is how you got a couple of clients super quickly using some cool methods. I have no idea what the heck you're going to cover, so that'll be cool. And really kind of want to dive in to something else that I think is really important too, which is how to stand out in a very crowded marketplace. So I made a post this morning saying like, oh, everybody does this, everybody does this, everybody does this, and they all look the same.
Mhm.
What makes you stand out? And we had some awesome responses in there.
Yeah.
And especially, I'm sure that's the case with social media marketers, because it seems to be such a surplus of them, and you got to figure out how to win. So definitely excited to hear what the heck you got going on. So you want to get started with the how you got the new clients recently?
Yeah, definitely. So this is something that's so funny. If you're watching and you've ever experienced this where you do something and it works, and then for some reason you stop doing that thing. You're doing something, it's producing results, and then you just for months or even years sometimes you're not doing it and you're like, oh yeah, that thing I used to do, that used to work. When I talked to Russell about it, he said that's a common thing that he sees. Russell Brunson, he's like, I see people do that all the time. They stop doing that thing that works for them. And when I first got started as a social media manager, I built my entire clientele on LinkedIn. And it was something I was teaching people. I was like, this is like the best way to build your clientele. It was for me for a long time. And then the warm leads started coming in. As more and more people got to know me and my work, it just was easier to get clients.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stopped completely using LinkedIn. So when we started to scale the agency, now we have, I have to count, we have people besides me working in the agency, and we have an office. So it's a little bit different. There's a lot more pressure. There's a bigger expectation. We have bigger clients, but I wanted the agency to grow. And I was like looking around for this new shiny idea, and I didn't realize, oh my gosh, I had it before. It was LinkedIn. And everyone who's watching this, don't drown me out just because I say LinkedIn. Here's the thing. LinkedIn is so much more powerful than you would even believe. LinkedIn is a beast of a machine. It's a place where literally you can get as many clients as you want from it. You can get leads, proposals, discovery calls, requests for proposals. You can get so much publicity on LinkedIn, and everyone thinks it's just this boring network, and it kind of is. But I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to try this. Let's go back to those roots and see what happens. And when I messaged you last week, Arne, when we were talking about what this was going to be about and everything, I had closed over the course of 1 week, $7.5 thousand worth of clients. And it actually is more than that now. And I've got an entire week full of sales calls with people who want to work with my agency, which is so cool. And the best part about it is it's free, $0 in marketing budget. So any person who takes clients, who works like in web design, social media, graphics, Facebook ads, anything where you work with clients, consultants.
So much opportunity. And so if you guys out there listening, you guys want free leads for what you do, go ahead and type free leads below, and Rachel's going to show you behind the scenes how to get that, how to make that happen. And LinkedIn's awesome. There's a million different ways to use it. So definitely curious to see which little LinkedIn hacks you've got to start filling these people's businesses full.
Definitely. So when I use LinkedIn, one of the biggest things that I did from the very get-go was I discovered that basically LinkedIn is all about positioning. So it's all about pre-framing who you are so that by the time you send someone a message, they already have this kind of picture built out. Now, whether we like it or not, every single person is prejudging us. Every single person. They're deciding, do I like this person? Do I approve of them? Are they a professional? Are they talented? And one of the best ways that you can set yourself apart on LinkedIn is to go through and optimize your entire profile. So that means the most important thing is going to be the first things that people see on your LinkedIn profile. Your profile photo. I mean, I wouldn't look like this in a profile photo on LinkedIn. I look professional in my LinkedIn profile photo. But then your headline is one of the biggest opportunities for you to secure clients, because your headline is the ability for you to share what you do to benefit potential clients. It's not about you. It's not about what you do. It's about the benefit that you bring to potential clients. So case in point, you could say, I am a social media manager. Guess what? Nobody cares. Sorry. You know what they care about? I grow small businesses' social media presences. Oh, now they care because it goes back to them. So the headline is a great opportunity for you to grab attention about the benefits that you can offer. And from there, the bio that you put into your LinkedIn, it should basically be one massive magnet. Your goal is with every single line to be describing not features, not a bullet point list of all of the skills that you have, but rather an explanation, a story of the benefits that you can offer to potential clients. Kind of crazy, a little different, huh? The features versus benefits on LinkedIn when it's so feature packed and skills packed. Kind of crazy. So the other thing that I do is I go through my entire LinkedIn profile is I go through it with a fine-tooth comb. And I think, okay, if someone were a potential client and they were hooked in by my profile picture and my headline, what else are they going to look at? What are they going to see? How are they going to judge me? And like I said, it's all about pre-framing. So if you can stack your profile full of great blogs that you've written for your website or whatever it is, feel free to repurpose them and use them on LinkedIn. If you have case studies of work that you've done, if you have examples of things that you've done, go ahead and make sure that everything is packed full of those juicy details from, you know, your descriptions of the places that you've worked to your education. Make it juicy. You don't want just a bunch of like lists of places that you've worked or education. Make it super exciting for your clients or potential clients to look through. Now that's one part of the process that is essential, and that is optimizing your profile. The second part of the process is connecting with tons of people. And people say like, okay, how many is tons? I'm talking tons. I'm talking like do it on your mobile phone and just sit there and like hit connect, 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 connect until you literally your thumb is numb. Like just connecting with people. You can also go by different industry titles, different regions. You can select people in your home state or not in your home state if you don't like to work with clients nearby.
Quick question on that one. I've heard different things saying like, oh, you should only connect with X amount of people per day or else you might get flagged by LinkedIn. Have you heard about that, or is there like some limits you advise people on?
Yes. So I have learned that if you are just connecting on your mobile phone actually slows you down once you are hitting your limit. If you are searching for people on your desktop, then when you open them in new tabs, what it does is basically, it's like if you look at too many profiles on Facebook. Have you ever done that where it's like you viewed too many profiles or something like that? It does that on LinkedIn and it says you've viewed too many pages, you're moving too fast. We think that this is automated. That's the big thing. So literally like every time I go to the bathroom, I'll sit there and hit connect, connected with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to your phone, it won't auto populate more for you to be able to connect with until the time has passed or whatever the case is. Now, if you're on your desktop, you do run the risk of them not slowing you down in time, and then you just get restricted or a warning like, hey, you're moving too fast. It's like Facebook. You know, when you copy and paste a link and then you paste it again and then you paste it again, and then all of a sudden Facebook says, whoa, you're using this in a way that seems spammy. Basically, that's exactly how how LinkedIn treats it too.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, it's funny because I've noticed Facebook is the opposite, where I can go in and share links on desktop over and over again. You know, if people say they wanted something, and then it'll, you know, pop up some CAPTCHA and then say, hey, you're going too fast. So I put it in and I go off the post. I go do something else. I come back later. But if I do it on mobile, that's how I've been like blocked from dropping links on anywhere on Facebook for like, you know, a couple of days.
Yes.
So yeah, opposite there. That's good to know if you guys have a lot of links to send out and a lot of connections and requests to make.
Do it all on your mobile. Desktop gets you into trouble. Yes. So from there, once you connect with a ton of people, this is the craziest part, and people don't even believe me on this. When you connect with a ton of people who are decision makers in businesses, there obviously is the process of cold outreach. There is the process of reaching out to potential clients, people whose businesses you admire. But one of the craziest things I've found is that people actually reach out to you. When your profile is optimized and you connect with people, they'll say literally, I was just thinking about hiring a social media manager. I was just thinking about getting a website redesign. And your headline pops up and it gives them the hope of, oh, this could be someone that I could connect with. Believe it or not, most people don't really know where to turn when they're going to hire someone who's skilled in a particular area. So if your name and face pop up with your headline as the go-to person in that space, right when they have a need, perfect timing.
Yeah, I love that. And what's really cool about that is something I've noticed, especially in the Facebook group space, is a lot of times people get so caught up in our little bubbles of other marketers, marketing to a bunch of other marketers, that we forget there's this whole entire world that doesn't care about what's happening in Facebook groups. They don't care about, you know, who's, you know, all the social media marketers, but they care about their business. They care about growing it. They have needs. And what do you know, if you pop up and show up and say, hey, I'm an award-winning social media strategist who helps people go viral and blah, 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 people are like, oh, that's awesome. I was just looking for that. So it's like,
exactly.
It's such a great way to break out of the kind of bubble that a lot of these online business owners are in and break into that new one. Like so I had a speaking gig on Friday and I was asking the audience some questions. I started realizing how few of them were kind of like up to speed on a few different digital marketing things, like things like, hey, who has a chat bot in? And there's like one hand go up and like just all these different things. And, you know, really understanding the crowd, that crowd is way, 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 way bigger than the people who are in the online space. So keep that in mind, guys. There's so many people out there that need your help and you can use LinkedIn to find them. So awesome tips.
I love that. And I'm actually going to go off of that for a second because I think anyone who works with clients if you work with clients, comment below. So I know, like, say, yeah, that's me, Rachel, or Arne, because Arnie's going to be watching the comments for me. But when you work with clients, sometimes one of the most dizzying and confusing feelings is thinking that there's this like really crowded space. And that's what you were just starting to allude to, is when you're working online and you're still in those same circles, you start to almost forget that there is that world offline. And I mean, I've even myself been like, okay, maybe there aren't a bunch of clients left. You know, there aren't any clients left, and it's crazy and it's crowded and it's competitive and it's cutthroat. And so when you start to find yourself like dizzy with all the possibilities online and you're like, it's just too much, I can't handle the pressure, go offline, because there are small business owners who will appreciate the work that you deliver. More than us crazy online marketers. I mean, I myself, we're crazy.
And I've definitely caught myself realizing that. And I've talked to a lot of people who sometimes, they'll share some strategy or be reluctant to share a strategy thinking, oh, everybody knows this. But, the simplest little social media thing that you can think of that you've probably been doing for years now could blow somebody's mind and be like, wow, she really knows her stuff. I want to work with her. Just literally anything. So always keep that in mind, guys. There's a lot of people out there that need your help. And even if you think it's simple, you're the expert. They're not. So help them out.
I love that. So from there, okay, so what happens when someone doesn't reach out to you? Does that mean that you now have to go into the space of cold outreach? No, there's actually a third way to get people's attention. So besides, first and foremost, besides your headline and your photo, as well as your description, your bio, making sure everything's optimized, besides connecting with people, there is a third way that is super, super powerful. And what that is stacking your wins in statuses. You can deliver value. You can go on and on about something that you've done, but I really like to just straight up stack the wins I've had for clients. I think nothing speaks as highly of your work as sharing results that you've gotten for clients. And you know how in the online space, sometimes you're like, because you see it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
On LinkedIn, it's still pretty fresh. So when you post a new status and you share that with your new connections and everyone who's now in your network, every person who engages with it, their entire network now sees that status. So
I love that too about LinkedIn is, you can go and see the post analytics, and you might have, 20% of the people who saw it are in your network. And the other 80 are people who aren't yet, and they come check you out. They send you requests. So like the organic reach potential on LinkedIn is really, really cool. And that's actually the main reason why I started putting a little bit more energy into it. As big and awesome as the MEC is, if I can hit a completely new audience and take one thing, 20% of the people who see it are already in my connections, and then I get a whole extra 80% to reach them for free, like why not? So LinkedIn's pretty cool, guys.
It is so powerful. I'm a huge fan, obviously, of LinkedIn. Now, there is another step. So once you stack your wins and you've already grown your network, you can continue to deliver value. You can do the typical, like putting up a picture of yourself and sharing some value. You can never do too much of that. You can honestly do one a day on LinkedIn, and there's going to be a long-term ripple effect of it. That's another thing too. I feel like content lives longer on LinkedIn than it does on Facebook.
Yeah, good shelf life, like a few days, maybe even a week.
Oh, I've seen even beyond a week. I have a couple of posts that I did a few weeks ago that are still just they're echoing in the LinkedIn.
I really like that. I think that probably came from like such volume on Facebook, where typically, posts will die in a day or a couple of days and it'll kind of fall off. But because people aren't spending as much time on LinkedIn, they kind of have to bring up those past posts.
Yes.
So you got to give them enough stuff to look at, and it just works out. So that's pretty cool.
It really is. It's the total opposite of Twitter, where you can literally tweet every 15 minutes and it's okay because the shelf life is like this big. Of every
20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So now, as you're doing these posts and your network is growing and people are coming in and saying like, I want to connect with you. Now what? Now it's time for outreach. And the funny thing is, I'll be honest with you guys, like when I get back into outreach mode, I always get a little nervous. I'm always like, what if nobody says yes? Like, what? And I know that sounds kind of funny because like we've worked with a lot of clients and,
Yeah.
but there's always that little doubt in your mind, like, what if nobody says yes? But sure enough, as soon as I started reaching out to business owners, literally within a day, I had sales calls booked, money in the bank within 3 days from clients, and then tons of proposals out. And as you know, sales is not an immediate result. It's something that there's a pipeline for sure.
Definitely.
So you want to keep that pipeline full. And maybe someone you send a message today will check Facebook or will check LinkedIn in a month and they're ready. Awesome. It builds the pipeline and gets you ready for growth that's reliable.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people, it's been kind of a funny thing where people will post up the terrible LinkedIn messages they get from other people and say like, wow, can you believe this person just sent me that? So there's always going to be a right and a wrong way to do it. So what have you found out works for you and your students?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things I've seen a lot of people do like long form sales pitches. And I personally just think like long form sales pitches are kind of always a bad idea. But now keep in mind, some people might have great success with them. So I'm not hating on them if that's what you do and it works. But I'm a huge fan of being invited into somebody's home before you pitch them. So I'll say like, hey, I see what you're doing with this and this business. I would love to connect on this. And so I keep it really short. And I kind of almost think of it as like a dating relationship. I remember, if I were to say to my husband when I first met him, hey, I'm Rachel and I'm a single mom and I really like this and this, and went on and on and on talking about me before he had even like taken a breath or said like, wow, that's really cool. He'd be like, okay, I didn't ask for all that. That's very overwhelming. But instead I was like, hi, I'm Rachel, and just shook his hand. That was how I met my husband. And it made him want to know more. So I'm a huge fan of like that, like little tiny intro. And it's just enough to hook their attention. And they're like, sure, let's set up a call and see what you can do for me.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite.
How short is too short? Because I don't know about you, but like a lot of times if somebody says like, hi, thanks for connecting. It's like okay, cool. I'm so busy. Like I'm
not going to respond to that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. So it's like it doesn't get a response. So is there anything you would want to make sure to add to actually get like some kind of a leading question or anything like that to invoke a response?
I almost always have either a CTA or a question. So whenever, like, let's say, for example, someone gets on a sales call with me, I am not somebody that like, I don't like to let them off without them feeling like we are going to move forward. And I do that in a way where I'm like, okay, perfect. So what I'll do is I'll send you a proposal in the next 24 hours. And what day would you like to set up a call to discuss the proposal? You're always moving towards that next step. So on LinkedIn, one of my favorite things is to ask like, what days would you be available for a call? So I just assume they're already interested. I know that sounds kind of funny, but it's short. It's like, hey, thanks for connecting. I just checked out your website and and then I compliment something on their brand. I would love to see how we could help you fill in the blank. What days are you free for a call? Or you could say, I'd love to see how we could help you fill in the blank. And then that usually piques interest, but some people need to be asked and guided. So I'm a huge fan of putting a CTA out there, like a call to action or asking a question.
Nice. Cool. So I'm just typing in all the notes here into the live so everybody has a little step-by-step. Yeah, these guys are loving it. So much value. Cool. Yeah, everybody's really enjoying this. Guys, if you guys are enjoying this, make sure to drop some likes and hearts and say thanks to Rachel. I know this is going to be some good stuff. You guys are going to be coming back for the replay and everything too. Yeah, awesome. So that is a pretty sick strategy. Is there any more parts to it they need to know about?
It's that simple. I am not even kidding you. That is how easy it is. And that was how, do you remember like way back when, that was how I generated my first like $32,000 worth of clients?
Nice.
I think that was what we talked about the very first time I came. I think it was when I was on your podcast, actually.
Oh, yeah?
almost 2 years ago. Crazy.
Yeah, still
And
working.
still
Yeah.
works like a charm. So my
Mhm.
whole team, we all are working it. It's pretty fun. And the greatest part about it is it's all profit. It's not,
Yeah.
you're not spending high costs to acquire clients using Facebook advertising and funnels and all that. That's great and all,
Mhm.
but you know what? I like free acquisition even better.
Definitely.
So,
Yeah, and it's not like low paying clients. So you got 7,500 to start and some more
that's,
deals in the pipeline, I'm sure. So
oh
this is
yeah.
going to be something you're going to keep using over and over again.
Absolutely. We're going to use it until LinkedIn goes out of business.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And guys, let me know in the comments if you guys are going to actually use this, because I love bringing speakers on. I love talking to people and hearing what they have going on. But even more, I love to see that you're actually going to use it. So guys, don't just listen and think, oh, that's a good idea. Listen, and once the stream is over, go and start using it. It's that simple. So get to it, guys. That'll be awesome. And let's see, what else do we want to talk about?
We're going to talk about how to differentiate yourself in this crowded space.
Yes, most
Oh,
definitely. And this goes for so many different type of people out there. And it kind of has to do a bit with how people stay in their bubble too. And when people just stay in their bubble, there's not as many opportunities because everybody's, in the red ocean. So when people can figure out how to step into that blue ocean, aka LinkedIn, I guess for you, it really opens a lot of doors, and it's going to help you guys stand out. But there's still also a lot of other people on LinkedIn offering the same stuff as you. So what have you figured out that has helped you and your agency stand out, and how can other people do that as well?
one of the things that's been really helpful for my agency so far, and I still feel like we're developing what the difference is between Rachel Pedersen with a team and the
Mhm.
agency and what the agency's like core values are. It's honestly it's still a work in progress because we just
Yeah.
really started this over the last 3 months, shifting to the agency model. But honestly, the biggest thing that has helped us to stand out is our results that we've
Mhm.
had. And so being able to say like, and stack similar results. So if you're trying to grab someone's attention on virality, cool, stack 3 viral results. If you're trying to grab someone's attention on lead generation, cool, stack 3 lead gen results. So that's been a big thing, is the congruency and not trying to just like cast this wide net. It's like this post is stacking the wins of massive reach. This post is casting the wins of a phenomenal ROI. So that's been kind of like it's about making sure that there's congruency. It's a huge part of the process.
Yeah, I think that's just so important. And one of the biggest things people miss about social media is they'll come on, they'll pitch, they'll, say, hey, book a call here, they'll do this, they'll do that. But without showing people that you can actually bring those results and you can bring them to their business, they have no reason to want to jump into your offers, into that call, and pre-framing it with, hey, I just helped this person do X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
And now they're like, oh, this could be a very worthwhile call. Let's see
Yes.
what we can do. And that has made all the difference
Yeah.
in my business. Sounds like yours as well. Just showing people like, hey, our stuff works over
Yeah.
and over and over again.
Another thing too that I think is kind of helpful is that when you go into the LinkedIn space, everything is very like suit and tie. It's
Mhm.
very, very professional. Not that that's bad, but I definitely have more of a little bit more of a carefree attitude. I can dress the part of a professional, but I like to like laugh and I'm goofy and I'm not gonna send super formal emails. That's just not my thing. And I'm sure it's not a lot of the people who are watching this thing either. So that makes you stand out a little bit on LinkedIn. Everyone else is doing this like uber professional corporate thing.
Yeah,
Now on
I noticed that too. I
yeah,
think it's really funny, like the
yeah.
contrast in between how people even communicate in the comment sections. Like they can't just be like, great post. They're like, great post, Arnie, comma, I was just thinking of blah blah blah, and like it's like perfect grammar and like all typed out like they're writing their resume. Like
Yes.
you can just say great post and drop a winky face in there and call it a day,
Yes, let's not talk like robots. But
Yeah.
then similarly on Facebook, like I've found that everyone's trying to like always put their best foot forward, and sometimes it's to detriment. Like I sometimes wish that there was like more open conversation about the reality of how not cool sometimes the behind the scenes is. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the reality is like, yes, my hair and makeup are done today, but
Mm-hmm.
most days like it's not. It's pajamas and working from my couch. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
glamorous process. And I've kind of been pretty open about that process. Like I'll put up pictures that are not
Yeah.
not website worthy or
Mm-hmm.
Instagram worthy, and I still just do it anyways. And that's been a huge differentiator
And
for
they're
me.
so memorable,
It's kind of nice.
where
People,
everyone's trying to be that suit and tie, and you're like,
yeah.
hey, here's me. I just woke up. I'm just hanging out with my kids,
Yeah, exactly. And I look like I just woke up. Yes, I really did just wake up like this. Not, but I think that's a huge thing. It's just being like honest about what the process is and not always just putting the best foot forward because there's more to the
Yeah,
story than that.
always, always. And
Yes.
that's so important all across any social media, is like showing that humanity of it and showing
Yeah,
that there's so much more to you than just what you do in your business.
absolutely. I think that's huge. I tell a lot of stories, and sometimes they're kind of like you've
Mhm.
probably seen some of them, Arnie. They're like goofy stories about being a mom and how some
Yeah.
of the things are weird and like it's
Uh-huh.
I know sometimes I'll bring my kids to a restaurant and my kid will get sick at the table and I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, this is so not cool. Like no one at this restaurant cares that my business is successful. I don't feel like I'm successful right now because
Yeah.
I got sick everywhere. And I think that that's a cool part of the process of differentiation is being comfortable with yourself and your own story in life, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. And that really shows people like you're a real person.
Yes.
There's too many robots out there. There's too many suit and ties and people trying to be perfect, and that's just no fun. So
Mhm.
guys, show up, be humans, let people know what you're all about. Don't be afraid to show off some wins, and it'll be a whole lot easier for you guys to pull some clients. So let's see. What else we got? Anything we want to cover and really help people get to that next level?
Ooh, so I don't know if anyone watching this is a social media manager or if you work with clients, but I do go into the process a lot more. What I shared today is more than enough. You can absolutely secure clients using LinkedIn right now, but I want to make just an offer. Is that okay,
Yeah,
Arnie?
absolutely.
Cool. Okay. So I wanted to offer anyone who works with clients who's a social media manager to come on over and check out my Social Media United program. So it is an entire training program for social media managers to discover how to secure clients, how to handle billing, invoices, pitching, finding your target market, everything that you would want to know about the different platforms. And you can actually join for just $1. I keep it very, very affordable. It's $1 for 7 days. So you can jump on in, check it out, see if you like the community. And if that's something you want to come on over with, it is smutrial.com. Arnie can type it out, but smutrial.com, just $1 to join, and you'll have access to my proposal templates, the exact templates I use for LinkedIn for pitching.
I'm seeing a
Those,
bunch of SMU members showing up in the
yes,
comments.
they're
if you
everywhere. Isn't that
if you guys
awesome?
are already in SMU, go ahead, comment below. Let us know you're out there.
You're like, oh heck yes, SMU.
Hmm.
They're awesome. Yeah, we have about 900 people in SMU. It's so fun, and every single person supports each other. It's one of like literally the nicest communities you'll ever meet.
No doubt.
I don't tolerate mean people. I can't do it. I try.
Yeah.
We don't do
Yeah, you
mean.
just got Sheriff Paul on board too.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, so guys, if you're interested in this and learning how to become a social media manager or get more clients as a social media manager, this is the place to go. I've had so much fun just being an honorary SMU member, seeing the community. I had so much fun speaking at your event last year and really getting to know everybody. And this is definitely not only a unique community with a lot of value in the connections, but just so much stuff in there to get people started. And definitely recommend you guys hop in, check it out. Total no-brainer, buck to get started. If you don't like it, don't continue. No hard feelings. But I guarantee you, if you thought this session was valuable, you guys are gonna love SMU. So hope to see you guys in there. And what do you think is the number one reason people join SMU and hang around?
You know, the reason that that they join at least this is what people tell me. The number one reason people join is because they're looking for answers. So for example, they'll see a webinar on how to handle clients or something, and then they're pitched like a $2,000 service, and they're like, or a $2,000 course, and they're like, I can't really afford a $2,000 course yet.
Yeah.
So they're getting started and they don't want to necessarily, or they're not able to invest a lot of money into their education, which is part of the reason why I keep SMU really affordable, to make it so that everyone has access to those skills and trainings. And so I think then they see, like, for example, one of my videos or something, they're like, oh, that seems really real. Like, that seems doable. That seems realistic. And then they jump on in and they stay, partly because of the trainings, but mostly because of the community. The community is like a family. I mean, it's tightly knit. One girl, she lost her dad and they had to like leave town and everything. And she was worried about her business, and the community came together and supported her to help her pay for her mortgage for that month, so that she was able to go to the funeral and not stress about it. But everyone like really has each other's backs. I see people starting to come in now, which is kind of fun. So if you're joining, awesome, comment below. But that's the biggest thing, is like the community that supports each other, and everyone like directs you to the right trainings. And so then that way, you know, everything that you need as a social media manager or a marketer is going to be in SMU, either in the community or
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's I think the biggest reason to join programs like SMU is there's so many people that have blazed the trails before you guys, and wouldn't it just be so much easier to just take all that information out of Rachel's head, of all of the failures of the startup, all the challenges you had, all of the trying to seek everything out and get all these answers, and just know you can find that in one spot. Like,
Absolutely.
if anything, the time and headache saved would make it worth it, even if it was 10 times the price. I know that was actually my biggest challenge. And when I was starting my business, was I didn't know, where to go to find help. And I couldn't afford, like you said, like big expensive programs or mentors or anything. So I kind of sabotaged my success by trying to figure it all out on my own. And really having that community at your back is the whole reason I created this group. Was the whole reason, people like Rachel are creating these programs, is to really help people get the roadmap, take the guesswork out of it. So I definitely recommend you guys hop in if this is something you're curious about.
Absolutely. And that's a huge part of the whole process. Like, yes, today I am so weird, like a 2 Comma Club winner, part of Inner Circle. Russell Brunson's my mentor.
Yeah.
FHL, cool stuff. That's all cool. But the reality is, like 2 years ago, I just needed answers and I needed support. And I didn't know. I was just like you, Arne. I think we were actually like starting at exactly the same time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really know where to turn. And so I just decided, you know what I'm looking for is not out there yet in the way that it should be for me today at that point. And I was like, I'm just going to create exactly what I wished had been around. And it's helped so many people. So it's kind of cool that when I met the need of old Rachel, that's when I saw people saying like, this is exactly what I've been looking for,
Yeah, no doubt. That's awesome. I feel like that's why most people create training programs and stuff. They're like, I wish I had this when I started. They would have saved, years, headaches, maybe so much money. And you're like, all right, have it. Just get to bring it to the marketplace. So it's super cool.
So cool. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. We've got a really fun couple of months coming up. I'm excited to see you in person too, Arne.
Yes, no doubt. And if you guys are also going to Funnel Hacking Live, type FHL below. Would love to see some of the MEC members out there. And Rachel's speaking. That's going to be so fun. What are you going to be speaking about?
The hidden funnel.
Ooh.
It's a secret. No, it really is. I'll tell you all about the hidden funnel at FHL for those of you who will be there live.
Nice. Looking forward to it. And thanks so much for swinging by, and huge congrats on the 2 Comma Club. If you guys enjoyed this session, make sure to say thank you to Rachel. I'm going to go ahead and tag your Facebook group below as well.
Awesome. And if you're watching this and you say, you know what, like I'm hungry and I want to implement the LinkedIn strategy, be sure to like leave a comment in the group in the MEC. Do you go with the MEC or the MEC?
I say MEC.
MEC? Okay, I bet some people say MEC. I just
Yeah,
found
they
that
do.
some people say SMU instead of
Smooth?
SMU.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that so funny? So, in the MEC, like, share what you've learned and like what the results that you get, because I honestly would love nothing more than to hear that you guys have success and find discovery calls booked or, leads coming in because of this free training, which would be awesome.
No doubt. All right, guys, you have 1 week to go out and get results and report back. Make Rachel proud. And what is one final piece you would have for all of the entrepreneurs out there who are just trying to get to the next level?
Oh man, the craziest part of it all, and I've been reflecting over this the last couple of weeks, is that the majority of the game is mental. And I've been thinking about this over and over again and realizing that so many people who are successful, it's not that they didn't have setbacks and failures and mistakes and lost clients and refunds and all of that. It's that they literally just pivoted and picked themselves up and said, I'm going to be mentally tough and I'm going to go get it now. That's been like one of my craziest realizations. And so if you're in a place where you're like, oh, I just lost a client, I'm not where I want to be, pick yourself up right in this moment and be like, I'm going to choose to become mentally tough, because the game is all mental. That's kind of what it comes down to. So that's been my big realization.
That bounce back time.
Yeah.
Especially like with somebody who's as productive as you, has so many different things and people to look out for. If you don't have that, you're out of the game. Like, so that's something you guys got to develop, and just such awesome advice. So thank you again so much, and hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you at Funnel Hacking Live.
Woo, I'm so excited. See you later, MEC. And bye, Arnie.
See ya. Bye.